You're ready.
Imagine yourself 4,000 years ago in the ancient world. Before you stand massive structures built by the ancients. These are the 7 wonders of the ancient world. They were built over 4,000 years ago, mostly in Europe and northern Africa. I've always enjoyed history with a specific emphasis on the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So I did a little bit of research several weeks ago now, and I learned a little bit more about them. There are 3 main regions I'd like to talk to you about. The first of which is Greece, the second is Egypt, and the third is Mesopotamia. We'll start in Greece. Greece holds 3 of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The first of which, seen here in the middle, is the statue of Zeus in Olympia. It was built in the 5th century by the architect Phidias. Now, the statue depicts Zeus, made mostly of gold and ivory, sitting on his throne. Now, there was a myth that after the temple was completed, Phidias prayed to Zeus for a sign of his approval. Several days later, the temple was supposedly struck by lightning. Now, Zeus being the god of thunder, that's a pretty good sign that he says so. The statue was destroyed by a fire in the year 462 AD. Now we move to Rhodes, which is here on the left. It depicts the sun god Helios and was built in the 3rd century. Now, according to HistoryChannel.com, the statue did not actually straddle the harbor entrance as it is shown here. Because of its immense weight being made completely of bronze, it would not have been able to be supported on 2 separate supports. It was destroyed by an earthquake in the year 220 BC. The final wonder found in Greece is the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, seen here on the right. It was created in 550 BC and is made up of over 120 60-foot tall columns. It was destroyed and rebuilt several times throughout history, but finally destroyed by the Ostrogoths in the year 262 AD. Now we move from Greece across the Mediterranean Sea to Egypt. Egypt is home to 2 of the wonders of the ancient world. The first of which, seen here on the left, is the lighthouse of Alexandria, created in 270 BC on the island of Pharos at the edge of the Nile to help guide ships into port at the edge of the Nile. It is 380 feet tall, made up of a square base and a octagonal middle section and a cylindrical top section where the fire was held for the light. It was destroyed by an earthquake in the year 956 AD. The second wonder in Egypt, seen here, as I'm sure all of you know, is the Great Pyramids of Giza. They were built the longest time ago in the year 2700 BC, and as I'm sure you all know, are the only wonder to still exist. The Great Pyramid for the pharaoh Khufu was made up of over 2 million blocks weighing between 2 and 70 tons. And as I've said before, it was never destroyed. Now we move from Egypt to Mesopotamia, where the final 2 wonders of the world are. The final 2 wonders are the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, seen here on the right, which was assumed to be created in the year 600 BC. Now I say assumed because there's no actual proof that they exist. According to the unmuseum.org, there's no coinage or tablets that show them being built, which the Babylonians were famous for having many of these, and there's no physical evidence such as rubble or a site that they would have existed on. But if it had existed, it is said to have been 75 feet tall, and a series of pumps would have raised the water from the Euphrates River up that 75 feet to water the plants. The final wonder of the world is the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, of Marsalis at Halicarnassus. It was built in the year 359 BC by his queen after his death. It is 135 feet tall, built entirely of marble, and his body wasn't even stored there. He was cremated, and his ashes were put in the very top bit, So that giant building was just to hold its ashes. It was destroyed by an earthquake in the 13th century. So, in conclusion, I've talked about 3 regions containing the 7 wonders of the world. The first of which was Greece, with the Temple of Zeus at Olympia, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, and the Colossus at Rhodes. Then we moved to Egypt, where I talked about the lighthouse at Alexandria and the Great Pyramids of Giza. And finally, Mesopotamia, where we talked about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. So if you're going to build an ancient wonder of the world, it seems that you should make it earthquake-proof. Thank you.